We're back here at this massive workshop to continue with the cleanup. This is part 4 of the workshop cleanup series. Hey guys, Chris the Ultimate Recycler. It's the same day as you just saw part 3. I thought I'd break it down into manageable parts. I've just had lunch and I'm back here. Luckily it's only less than 10 minutes home, so it's not hard to get to. I've continued the cleanup. Let's go and have a look and show you what I've done so far, and we'll do some more rummaging in boxes and crates this time and see if we can find any more good gear. I've grabbed a few essentials like the broom and some garbage bags. You can see I've got this bench here totally cleaned off, and I've brought a lot more crates and boxes and tubs and things, although there's a few in the shed that I can use. There was a lot of empty boxes in here, and there are milk crates in here, so they will add to my extensive collection. This bench, as I said, is totally done. There's a vise there that's bolted to it, so I'll take that off. The pedestal drill I'll be taking back to my place. It's a nice one. It's quite heavy, and with my shoulder still recovering, well, it's been 12 months since I had my shoulder reco, but I don't want to strain it by trying to lift that off there myself. So I think Steve, my son's, coming to help me next week, so that will be fine there until next week. And same with the lathe. Steve will help me move the lathe. I will take all the accessories today, just in case someone comes in here. And on that note, something has gone missing, and I didn't realise in the last episode. And I've talked to the nephew about it, and he's going to check it out for me, because the word was that no one's been in this shed since I was last here. And you may remember there was an old phone on that box with some make-up batteries. In fact, there's one similar to what he'd done. So someone has been in here and grabbed the phone. It was a $200 or $300 phone, so if that doesn't materialise again, I will be probably adjusting my price. There's definitely been a few boxes rummaged through, but I can't tell if anything was missing or not. I think there was a good set of vernier calipers that I can't find. I might have mentioned that in the last episode. Anyway, I'm not terribly worried about the incidentals. Obviously, the deal here was mainly for the lathe, the motorbikes. There was a good Honda pump, and a substantial amount of good tools that I'll do quite well out of, and the old trunks. And you saw me get the nice timber planes out of that box in the last episode. I will ask the old guy if the oscilloscope works, but whether it does or doesn't, I'll take it back to my place. I actually have one similar on my bench that maybe I'll restore one day. I'm not sure. I just have a thing for vintage test equipment. It just looks cool, even if I don't use it. I don't know if there's leads around for that oscilloscope, so I'll ask the guy there. There's a lot of stuff in here. Look at this tray. It's totally brittle. I guess the sun coming through the skylight has just broken it down over the years. There's lots of things like that are falling apart. There's things that have been wet, and a couple of cardboard boxes I moved from here, the bottoms were totally gone. So I don't know if the shed floods. I don't think so. But there's a chance that the old skylights up above actually leak. You can see that one's got lots of gum leaves over it. They look quite brittle. I wouldn't like to walk on the roof. You'd probably go straight through it. But in this episode, we'll have a look in some of these trunks. They're army trunks. They will sell quite well anyway. I don't know what's going to be in them. He was in the Air Force, as I've probably mentioned. That's a really nice large timber box. Not that it's worth a lot, but they sell quite well. Makes a good wood box. Looks like there's some old Victor lawnmower engines in there. So, all right, I'll get to it. I'm just going to probably continue down the side where I've started there. I'll sweep up a bit. I'll move that bench out and then clean up and then put it back against the wall, because I'll be selling those workbenches at the end. Same with this massive big one in the middle. I'm not going to take them back to the shop. I'll just photograph them in the shed when the shed's cleaned out, and we'll arrange for someone to come and pick them up here. I'll round up all the accessories for the lathe and put them in a box so they're all in one place. And then I probably might start down this bench here, and there's just a lot of hardware in jars, which I'll just have to box up, and I'll go through them at some stage. And you know that I actually sell hardware in jars through the shop, so I'll just consolidate them into jarfuls of assorted hardware, and we'll get a few dollars back there. So I'm not sure if I'll use the shelving at home or not. We'll have to work that one out. Let's have a look in a few boxes before we get started, just because it's fun. There's a bike helmet. These plastic tubs probably don't have much in them. Oh, what have we got there? Old headphones, but some of them look like, I wonder if that's part of his flight. you know, he was a pilot. So is that pilot's accessories? I'm not sure. There's quite a lot of them here, but it looks like part of a pilot's uniform. Yeah, okay. There's all sorts of wires in the bottom as well. Perhaps this is where headphones go to die. We'll take that complete tub and put it in the van this trip, I think. I'll sort that out at the shop. What's in the next one? Electrical wire. So a lot of this is just going to go in the scrap metal. Well, you know, to the scrapyard as insulated copper wire. So it certainly won't be wasted. What's down the bottom? I'm having a dig around here. We have a vintage Walkman, a Sony Walkman. These things are quite collectible and can bring pretty good dollars now. It actually doesn't look in bad condition. Oh, I've lost the battery cover. Hopefully that's in there. So yeah, that's the old cassette one. So we'll check that out. There's more boxes of things in here. That's a home alarm system control box or connector box. So again, this tub I'll put straight in the van and we'll sort that out at the shop. I'm certainly going to get lots of copper wire to take to the scrapyard. What's underneath here? Lots of empty boxes, lots of timber, an electric motor out of a Hoover, so I'm assuming that it was a washing machine motor. I think we should make fairly quick headway in this shed because a lot of it just is a quick cleanup. It's just been spread out. So I don't know that there's as much stuff as what first grabs the eye. There's some motorbike carry cases. What are they called? Panniers or something? I'm not sure. I've never been a bike rider. Not sure what that thing over there is. Let's get closer if we can. It's I don't know. There's numbers on it. Specialised piece of equipment. I have no idea. If you know what that is, let me know. I could probably find out by reading things. It's possible it's got something to do with aircraft. Don't know. That's a mystery to me. There's another tub there that looks to be nearly empty. There's just a pair of gloves in there. So most of the boxes you see around here are pretty much empty. I don't know if they ever had much in them or whether they've been pillaged by the family. I'm not sure. But look, I don't have a problem with the boxes being empty. I didn't look in them. I quoted on what I saw. And if I was cleaning out my shed, I would be taking and maybe even selling some better stuff and then letting someone like myself come and clean it out when I've finished. So I don't expect to find a lot of enormous treasure, but, you know, we're finding some pretty cool stuff. All right, let's move this box of two-way radios and have a look in this trunk. I don't think anyone's been in here because I did review the footage that I took when I first came in, and a lot of these boxes were untouched. And you would think if I looked in the trunks, it would be pretty evident from how the boxes on top were. So this is a large aluminium trunk. What do we got in here? Okay, not initially very exciting. It's quite heavy. It looks like that's a lawnmower starter pulley. So is that. That's an old one. Actually, they, I think, sell quite well. That's off the pretty early Victor lawnmowers that you'd screw it on the top of the flywheel and you'd start it with a length of rope and a stick. I think they sell quite well on their own. That's a more modern recoil start, probably off a Briggs, and it's been dismantled. We've got car parts in here as well. Winder handle, probably off a Holden. Yes, it says Holden. Now there's a tray here. I don't know what's underneath. Let me put the phone down and we'll lift the tray out. And down the bottom we have lots of heavy pieces of metal. I don't know what they're from. They look like clutches. Oh no, they're not. They're just solid metal pulleys. Maybe he's made them on his lathe. That looks like things you would rig up if you were using a motorbike engine on some sort of go-kart for changing gears. That's an old impulse starter off a lawnmower. They're quite collectible now. People that collect the old lawnmowers like to buy the original impulse starters. I don't know what this is. Unusual. Might be a vintage spotlight of some sort. Every shed needs a ball of string. Lots of just heavy lumps of metal. So not much value in there really at all. Probably the trunk is as good a value as anything. So yeah, let's have a look in the next one. All right, this is a timber trunk, and it was stamped Squadron Leader and the family name. So I guess he actually flew in the Air Force. And let's lift this trunk up. And we have more lawnmower parts. There's mufflers from an early Victor. There's an old drill. I think those were a Shure drill. Very heavy duty, lots of torque. You could almost start a truck with those old things. They're well geared. That doesn't look very safe. Lots more bits of metal. That's actually aluminium. So I guess I should keep some of these if I'm going to be doing some lathe work. Big chunk of brass there, a bit of brass pipe or bushing. It smells on the bottom of this trunk. I think it's been wet. A bit of copper pipe. Copper pipe's always nice. I don't know what these are. These are aluminium and they've been cast. I'll have to ask the old guy what these were for. But it's all cast aluminium. They're fittings or made up for something. I don't know what. If you recognise them, let me know. But I will be asking the old guy what these are. Quite a lot of cast aluminium, so even for scrap they'll be all right. An old book here. Looks like an engineering book. It's quite damp. And it's lost its cover. So yes, this has been wet. We have another booklet there. Engineer's pocket book. Okay, so not much value there either. Really just scrap metal in that box. Hopefully the bottom's not too rotten from being wet. And I've just moved the stuff off this big steel trunk. It's a big trunk. I haven't tried to move it. I don't know if it's heavy. Not sure what it's got in it. First time opening. Oh, hey, interesting. Lawnmower stuff. I don't mind lawnmower stuff, but it's not of a lot of value. However, that one reminds me of the twin. It is. Hopefully the full engine's there. 170cc twin cylinder Victor. They brought these out, I think, in the late 70s. Might have been the early 80s. And they were never very successful. And they're actually quite collectible now. And it is the twin motor. Yes, the carby mounts to the crankcase in the middle. Oh, geez, it's been wet. There's a bit of corrosion going on here. That's an old Victor crankcase. But the there you go. I'm pleased to see the twin here because it might be restorable. It might have good parts for a collector. But you can see the carby mounts on the crankcase in between, and the cylinders are horizontally opposed. And they never ran very well in my experience because they had trouble getting even fuel air mixture to both cylinders. So there's a bolt turned off there, I think. It's quite corroded, but still it's better to see that than just a normal Victor engine because they're a dime a dozen. So that's pretty cool. That should have some value. But again, I think this trunk's had water in it, or it's sat in water. The bottom looks quite rusty. There's some old carbies off the early Victors here, so there might be some good saleable parts, but not overly exciting. And I know unless you're into lawnmowers, it's probably really just looks like scrap metal, but yeah, we might do okay with parts there. I'm not going to worry about taking that one this trip. What's in this tool chest? Oh, this was open when we first did a walkthrough. And guess what? More drill bits. This is a bit like finding plumbing fittings in Dad's shed. We're finding drill bits in this shed. Okay, that's enough of a walk around. I better get to work. I'll start packing up. It's about 2 hours later. I've had a decent go at it. We've made a fair bit of room. I've loaded quite a few boxes in the van. I've got to say, I haven't really been finding anything much. It's actually saleable. I'm finding lots of good scrap stuff. There's boxes of insulated wire, so that'll pay pretty well. There's some homemade propellers. They'll probably sell. And lots of mechanical bits and pieces. I think that's an early Victor lawnmower tank as well. So lots of lawnmower parts, and in amongst it all there's lots of brass. So our scrapping side of the business is going to do all right. There's not a lot I can put straight in the shop. I've just been filling boxes here, and as they fill up I'll put them in the van. But I'm not taking heaps back. It's more just been sorting and sweeping as I go. I like to sort of work across the room in a sort of a all-consuming wave and leaving it all neat behind me except for stuff that needs to be transported home. So the pile in the corner is getting quite large. I will have to do a load to the transfer station. There's old tyres and foam seats off things and stuff that's just been here for a long time. A lot of the plastic's gone brittle. All the tubes are no good. They've all perished. So there will be some going to landfill, but most of this work in this shed is just sorting. So I've knocked apart a stand that was in the middle here. It was only chipboard, so that'll probably just be burnt. I've kept the frame for my wood fire in my shed. I'll be back here in the morning. I'll probably come out about 10 in the morning and get another go at it. Most of the time in this deal will be just sorting and cleaning. There's actually not going to be enormous amounts that I have to store, which is good because I don't want to pay storage fees for a long time. And most of the bigger stuff, well, the motorbikes, obviously I'm going to try and sell, but the lathe, of course, is going home. The pedestal drill is going home. I think I've decided that I'm going to keep this bandsaw, although it does need a little bit of work. There's been some creative electrical wiring going on here, but apparently it works, and he said he put a new blade on it, so I think I'll find a spot in my shed for that. Eventually it'll have to be sort of stored somewhere for a little while. So anyway, I think I've done a pretty good day today. We've done about 5.5 hours. I'm keeping track of my time because I need to make sure it's worth my while. And as I said, there's a lot of time spent just cleaning and organising and sweeping and sorting scrap. But we're going to have some good electrical wire. I've got more boxes of plumbing fittings. Yes, you heard me right. More plumbing fittings. I don't think I've even looked in that trunk yet. We might do that tomorrow morning. I was going to ask him about the oscilloscope. He did come out here and I had a chat to him about some stuff. And I asked him about the phone and he's umming and ahhing and he's going to check that out. So I don't really know what that means. But yeah, look, as you saw, there wasn't a lot in these trunks at the back, so we might start organising them tomorrow and I can take them back to the shed or where I'm going to store the stuff and pack them properly, so at least the stuff will be stored for a while until I can get to it and it'll be safe. We better get onto this big bench, and I think that as soon as I get this bench emptied off and cleaned up, given that most of the room in front of it's almost done, and I'll move that little trailer. That's an ex-motorbike trailer that he's turned into a little spray cart. So I'll probably sell that on eBay. I'll have to put that on my trailer. I won't get it in the van. But as soon as we got that clear, we might clear the centre bench off and I'll put an ad on Facebook and see if I can sell it and someone can come and pick it up, because that will go a long way to emptying this shed. I think once that big bench is gone, the shed's we're going to be breaking the back of the shed. As for the benches, well, this back bench is fixed, so it has to stay there, and the little shelving units up on top are only chipboard. We'll probably just break them up for the fire. This is a nice woodwork bench, and that's not fixed, so that one's going back to my shop, and we'll find somewhere for it. Hopefully. I'll have to talk nicely to Christine. That bench there might have a spot in my workshop once I get the emergency storage shed cleaned out a little bit, because it looks like it's a good spot to mount a grinder with a lenishing belt. As for these ones, I think we'll probably sell these as well. So the sooner I can get them cleaned off and swept out, we can advertise them on Facebook Marketplace, and hopefully someone local comes and picks them up. We'll make them cheap. I won't be asking big dollars for them. The whole thing is to rehome them and rehome them quickly. So yeah, there's not too much to go. I think I've had a pretty good effort today. It is a big shed, and there still is a lot to go, but allow me to try and convince myself that we're getting there. Come on, work with me, guys. I'll pack up. I was going to get back to these jars today, but I didn't get back in there. I'll pack up some of them tomorrow as well. Let's finish this episode up now. Let's make them short, sharp, and quick, and I'll be posting them pretty well as they're ready, so you might get an episode each day for a little while whilst I'm knocking the shed over as quick as I can. So time to go home. It's starting to get dark. I've run out of water. I need more coffee, although it's getting late in the day. I don't normally have coffee late in the day, but I consider my caffeine levels are low. They're allowed to be boosted. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you in the morning probably, and I'll start the next episode. Catch you then. Bye for now.